my co-hosts, hope you're all doing well. I'm your host, Toreno Senpai, and welcome to today's review video. I have a confession to make. I love dinosaurs. Yeah, I know, you all must be shocked, but I had to come clean. In fact, the primary focus of my YouTube channel is about my love for dinosaurs. They've been a huge part of my life, even to the point where I wanted to become a paleontologist as a kid. On the subject of confessions, I have another thing to add. I love fantasy. I get it, you must be taken aback by this revelation. Alongside dinosaurs, I was really into magic, mythical creatures, and dragons as a kid. However, there isn't much overlap when it comes to dinosaurs and fantasy worlds. There isn't a lack of it, believe me, I know, but there aren't many that have grabbed my attention or aren't really talked about in the community. However, one animated series changed all of that. Sauria. Created and animated by David James Armsby, this series showcases a wild world of savagery, nature, and witchcraft. If the man in question sounds familiar to you, it's no coincidence, as he also created the Dinosauria Series, which has been discussed and praised by dinosaur enthusiasts the world over. And I've done a review on it, so go check it out if you haven't seen it. Much like the Dinosauria series, Sauria combines 3D animation with 2D backdrops, but it is animated to look as 2D as possible. And much like the former collection of short films, Sauria is a collection of anthology short films that follows characters in the universe. However, these films are more focused on the Saurians, who are the main inhabitants of Sauria, which resemble different types of dinosaurs and have different cultures and mannerisms. At the moment of recording this review, there are a total of 5 races shown on screen: the kindred of the tusk, the Arctic Saurians, the Fell, the Blue Song, and an unnamed race of farming saurians that resemble Pachycephalosaurus. Out of all the saurians, the Blue Song are the most prevalent of the races. As they are not only seen in all 3 films, they are the reason for conflict in the wilds of Sauria. The Blue Song seek out to tame and domesticate Sauria and its inhabitants, expanding their empire. This has led to many tribes being forced from their homes and families, and with some Saurian tribes, such as the kindred of the tusk, declaring war on them. There's a lot of lore that is built into the series, a lot of it not even mentioned in the short films. I may bring up a few key nuggets of lore wherever it's needed, but honestly, there's so much to dissect. It's probably best if you watch David Armsby's behind the scenes and lore compendium videos to get a full grasp on what this world is like. I'll leave the link to the Sauria playlist in the description down below so you can see it for yourself. I was waiting to review this series after all the short films had been released on YouTube, and now that all 3 of the short films are available, it's time to talk about them. But before we dive into the world of Sauria, I suggest you watch the series before you check out this review, as we'll discussing spoilers throughout. This will be your only warning. With that said, let's take a look at Sauria. The first entry in the series definitely gives the trilogy a strong start building the world of Sauria. It begins with the main focus of the film, a member of the kindred of the tusk group of Saurians known as Turox. He is a powerful and ancient Saurian that hails from a more ancient and rare breed of Saurian that make up the Tusk chieftains. Fresh from battle, Turox is taken to his cell by Blue Song soldiers. After the guards leave, we're introduced to another member of the Tusk, Ceratus. He tells Turox that he has come to free him and there are several more soldiers waiting outside for battle, but Turox refuses to leave. He explained that in the time he's been here, he's been fighting the Blue Song warriors and their mounts in the arena, handpicked by the Blue Song Chancellor, whittling down their forces slowly but surely. But that makes us wonder why. Why is he doing this? Well, throughout the short film, we get glimpses of a battle waged between the Blue Song and the kindred of the Tusks. A battle where Turox was in the front lines alongside his faithful steed and ally, a very powerful and very old Carnotaurus known as the Bull. Both sides suffered very heavy casualties, but it was Turox who seemingly suffered the most of all, as the Bull was one of the lives that was taken. Grieved and enraged by the loss of his fallen brother, he offered himself to the Blue Song fortress in the desert, where the Chancellor pits him against their strongest warriors. It's here that Ceratus realizes that Turox wasn't taken prisoner. He is enacting his revenge. The film ends with Ceratus leaving Turox remaining in his cell. Overall, this is a pretty awesome start to the series. It fleshes out some of the world of Sauria and its inhabitants. I love the idea of a seemingly intelligent and civilized race like the Blue Song thinking they have one of their most powerful enemies behind bars, fighting in their arena, being outsmarted by what looks like nothing more than a barbaric and mindless brute. Also, the set pieces are spot on. I love the mural we see at the beginning of the film, the prison where Turok and his young Carnotaurus are being held, and the arena where Turok battle against the Blue Song. I'm also a fan of the designs for the Blue Song and Kindred of the Tusksaurians. The two alongside each other contrast with each other nicely, with the Blue Song being more refined and elegant in appearance, and the Kindred of Tusk being more primitive and barbaric. I absolutely love the models for the Carnotaurus, Torosaurus, and Therizinosaurus. It makes me wonder if we'll eventually see these designs in future films from Dead Sound. All in all, Blood for Blood is a great start to the trilogy. Winter Weathered is by far my favorite entry in Sauria. It's winter, and a lone Arctic Saurian named Helionyx attempts to hunt a Megalosaurus. But before he can loose his arrow, the Irish elk is ambushed by a Dinosauria, which is actually a modified version of the design we see in the Dinosauria series. As Helionyx abandons his hunt, we also see the return of the Alaskan Troodon that was featured in the Dinosauria series. And I know I totally brushed over this, but the Parasaurolophus we see in the opening shot is also a modified model from the Dinosauria series. I'm telling you guys, it's refreshing to see some familiar faces in the series. God, try saying that 5 times fast. As Helionyx makes his way to his cabin, he runs into a traveling herd of woolly mammoths, one of which is a scarred female that Helionyx apparently saved from being poached by Kindred of the Tusk warriors. She is now healing from her wounds and is accompanied by a calf. We see her gesture to Helionyx's side, but he shakes his head and tells her that his own son is dead. We then get glimpses into Helionyx's life. In his cabin, there are wooden figures that seem to have been made for his kid. Apparently, he never found the body, only a bloody sheath. He searched and searched for months, and as a result fell into a deep state of depression, and unfortunately isn't prepared for the harsh winter months. Despite this, he claims that he doesn't blame whatever took his son from him, as it was only an animal just trying to survive. We also see that he's struggling to eke out a living as the Blue Song patrol the area and is unable to leave. And if that wasn't enough, he hasn't made much success in hunting to feed himself, and even wonders why he bothers since he feels no hunger, or really anything at all. Helionyx has truly hit rock bottom. During a blizzard, Helionyx decides to venture out into the mountains and finds the mammoth herd once again, only to see that the calf is now dead. Still, Helionyx continues to the mountain and finds what appears to be an ancient shrine with huge statues carved in front of a cave entrance. These statues are going to be important later, so remember them. He enters the cave and is greeted by a Smilodon. There's a moment where Helionyx takes a look at the big cat and seemingly gives himself up to it. However, he sees that the saber-toothed cat is injured and has a knife in its shoulder, the same knife that Helionyx's son had. The sight of it enrages Helionyx, and he fights against the cat. After a brief scuffle, Helionyx manages to take the knife and mortally wound the cat. When he sees the Smilodon dying on the floor, Helionyx realizes what he's done and begs the cat to not die, swearing that he didn't mean to kill it. This is honestly a truly powerful scene. Throughout the film, we learn that Helionyx has a great respect for nature and only kills when it is needed. He takes only what he needs to survive, but never lets it go to waste. There's a lot of lore reasons as to why this is, so again, watch the behind-the-scenes videos and lore compendium videos if you haven't. We then learn that the Smilodon was also a parent and had a cub of its own. Helionyx promises the dying cat that he will take the cub and raise it as his own. Time passes and winter has arrived once again. Helionyx is once again hunting Megalosaurus, but now has the help of the Smilodon cub, now fully grown. It's truly a touching scene to see Helionyx finally in the process of emotionally healing himself, and even redeeming himself by raising the young Sabertooth. This short film in particular gave me very strong vibes from the pilot episode of Genndy Tartakovsky's Primal. In that episode, we see that Spear has lost his family to a pack of horned Tyrannosaurus, and falls into a deep depression, nearly leading to him taking his own life, but ultimately gets his revenge on the creatures that took his family, but also resulted in Fang losing her own young. This short tells a great story about how depression and despair can turn an otherwise good man against his own morals and ideals to become enraged and vengeful. But it's not all doom and gloom, as even at Helionyx's lowest of lows, he eventually comes back to his senses and is able to overcome his negative feelings and show signs of healing and redemption. An absolutely beautiful short film with a very heartfelt message. The third and final short film in Sauria is quite possibly the darkest and most disturbing entry. It begins with the Blue Song Patrol setting out to scout the lands. We see them pass through vast deserts, where one soldier brings down a member of the kindred of the Tusk and an Allosaurus, trudging through the Arctic, and even pass through a farming village inhabited by as of yet named Pachycephalosaurus saurians. The patrol makes their way to the swamps, passing by a herd of Stegosaurus, which, fun fact, are actually models that were made for scrapped episodes of the Dinosauria series, as well as the Allosaurus. However, one of these Stegosaurus has a very strange brand on its side. The patrol set camp, preparing to eat a freshly killed crocodile, but the leader of the group, named Ornithocera, who we've actually seen throughout the series, but now actually has a proper name, senses danger in the area and orders the hunting party to flip the crocodile corpse. Sure enough, the crocodile has the exact same branding as the Stegosaurus on its belly. After checking the soldier's hands, he orders the corpse to be mutilated and immediately retreat. But before they can take action, they're ambushed and a battle ensues. Ornithocera and 2 other Bluesong soldiers are taken prisoner and are brought to a sacrificial pit. It's here that we learn that the Saurians responsible for taking them prisoner are terrifying and evil creatures commonly known as the Fell. According to legend, the Fell are the remnants of what were once a great tribe of Saurians known as the Forefathers, who managed to tame the wilds of Sauria and learned how to use magic. While the use of magic is outlawed by the Bluesong, it was the principle of the Forefathers that the foundations of the Bluesong's conquest over Sauria was built upon. However, the Forefathers failed and vanished without a trace 5,000 years ago. It is believed that the Forefathers learned magic that they never should have learned, and as a result lost their minds and became these skulking husks without thought or speech. We see the Fell Priest, an individual with his mouth and eyes sewn shut, lead a mind-broken Parasaurolophus to the pit and slaughters it, the blood turning into some sort of dark magic essence that the Fell used to brand their victims to bend to their will. It's at this moment that we see Ornithocera has had his mind broken, and that he too bears the Fell's branding on his palm. From the depths of the pit, we see a foul beast known as the Transcendent One, a terrifying Lovecraftian demigod that was once a Saurian. The monster lets out a horrifying roar, which breaks the mind of one of the other Bluesong soldiers as another one tries to flee. However, he is ultimately caught by the Fell Spinosaurus and has his mind broken by the Transcendent One. We see one last look of possible fear in Ornithocera's eyes as the film ends. This short film is very much inspired by the works of H.P. Lovecraft, as there are several themes of cosmic horror and the fears of the unknown. Out of all the entries in Sauria, this is by far the most interesting and unsettling. And it's also nice to see the Fell after they were kind of teased in winter weather. My only gripe with this film is that it ends in a cliffhanger. This is meant to be the finale of these films, and yet it doesn't actually have a proper ending. However, David Arnsby did claim that there is a possibility for the series to continue at some point in the future, so we may still see more of the world of Sauria, and maybe get a proper ending to the series. But only time will tell for now. I think it's safe to say that David Arnsby has once again created a beautiful collection of short films. They are beautifully animated. The soundtrack by Ivan Dutch, I probably should have talked about more, is absolutely fantastic. And the series really makes me wonder about the world of Sauria. I really do hope we get some sort of continuation at some point, but what we have already is quite good. Honestly, if you guys haven't seen Sauria and you made it this far into the review despite the spoilers, please check it out. I thoroughly enjoyed this collection of short films, and I'm always excited to see dinosaurs in a fantasy setting. But what happens next? Well, not too long ago, we got a very awesome reveal, and I'm pretty sure it's going to make a lot of you guys very happy. That's right, folks. David Arnsby is not done with dinosaurs yet. The Dinosauria series is coming back. And that basically wraps up my review of Sauria. I sincerely hope you guys enjoyed this video, as I put a lot of work into writing scripts and recording these types of videos. Of course, we'll talk about the Dinosauria Series Volume 2 when the series releases. And of course, I still need to review the next part of the IDW Godzilla trilogy, but I do have one other review that I'm working on right now as we speak that is actually a big part of my life, and I hope you guys enjoyed as much as I did making it, or in the process of making it, however this works. If you're looking forward to those reviews, or if you're into dinosaur content, leave a like, subscribe today, hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything new. All of my links are in the link tree in the description down below. And until next time, this is Tyrannosaurus signing off. Alright then, take care now. Bye bye then.